Hello and happy 2025. We appreciate you tuning in for the first What's Up Wednesday live for 2025. And the title here is Health is Wealth. Everybody is talking about their New Year's resolutions. It's not too late yet to say Happy New Year's. We have had some nerd RD talk in our office around all of the topics that we really hear in the media. So today we're introducing today's segment, which will follow our normal path to provide you information, professional development on the topic health is wealth, menu inspiration, and then the big announcement today is our mystery chef. So if you've joined us, we appreciate your time and we look forward to jumping into the topic. So we were laughing, we did not plan this, but we're kind of like a stoplight up here as we talk about what has been in the media. Today, if you haven't seen, the FDA has banned red number 5 as a cancer-causing agent and additive in foods. And so we would be remiss if we didn't start the new year off by really talking about things that are out there in the media as we program our menus, right? So we get on after the holidays and we start talking, we all plan our menus by the dietary guidelines. And the dietary guidelines tell us that if we eat 85% of our diets clean, define that, right? So it's like defining local. Your definition of clean might be different than your neighbor's definition of clean, but certainly the popular conversations are talking about ultra processed foods. So UPFs, you'll see that all over the place. So 85% whole diet, David and I were debating, it's the 80-20 rule of life. Like if you do something good 80% of the time, you're going to be pretty good, right? So we're not villainizing foods and we're not talking about scaring or panic, but we are wanting to talk a little bit about what's out there in the media. And so the definition of ultra processed foods, the New York Times this first week of January took a 5-day challenge to help inform readers of what that meant. They used a simple definition that kind of resonated with me as we talk about Head Start programs and school programs, anything you can't make in your kitchen. So if we used to talk about turn that label over, if you can't pronounce it, if you don't know what it is, if the list is really long, that might be something to cause pause and consideration when you're thinking about products you're consuming and putting on your menus. What I know is that the ICN has just done a very timely article, and I'm going to have David drop it in the chat, and we'll go in the follow-up email to this as well. A mealtime memo from ICN, which really does a nice graphic depiction of maybe this kind of stoplight program, right? So, whoa, ultra processed, kind of just think about it. If there's a less processed alternative, what can you do to maybe make that your selection? Some of the in-between, maybe words you can't pronounce, you don't understand. And some of the go for things like plant-based, but go for it with an informed lens. So we kind of talked about those things. Don't panic, we say call Pasanic or use tools, right? So if you're really interested in learning more personally about ultra-processed foods, the Center for Science and the Public Interest, which again, sometimes could become a little bit alarmist. So we just want to disclaim that we understand we're not trying to do that for you. But what we do want to do is put the power of tools and useful tools in your hands. So if you're starting to turn labels for yourself, your family, or your school lunch procurement, please know that there is a resource, and again, that will be in the chat and again in the follow-up email, that really is a list that allows you to discern what is on a label that you might not be able, 1, to pronounce sometimes, or 2, to understand, does that qualify this food as an ultra-processed ingredient or not? I'd like to say, remember, there are some ingredients that sound funky, but they are real things. Like for you that aren't maybe studying scientific words, vitamin C is sodium ascorbate, which might look kind of funky. There's obviously B6 is pyridoxine, and alpha tocopherol acetate is vitamin E. So we all know our foods need to be nutrient dense for the dietary guidelines and meet all of these vitamins and minerals, but sometimes those words look scary too, right? So again, we're just thinking about what we can do to help put the power of information in your hands. 2 things real quick, and then I want some perspective before we jump in. We are partners in this, and we are partners not only as a team for you, but with our logistical partners. So today, we know we will have some conversation with Gordon, but we're going to first start thinking about some of the resources. So we looked at a school procurement guidance document when Traverse City Public came to us and said, define clean label. So we're going to drop a resource in the chat, and again in the follow-up. There has been work done on this. So we aren't guinea pigs in the Midwest, and certainly states like California have really adopted some strict policies and procedures, and others as well. So there are some resources and documents that I think would be a good starting point if you're curious about looking at procuring or how to procure or purchase food that might be considered cleaner label or not ultra processed. Also, here's my wet blanket. You know, the red is stop the panic. Just, we know we do a good job in schools, and the best way to include non-processed foods in your diet is to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. And so at Pasonic and our team, we've always professed, continue to support and encourage you all to have those fresh fruit and vegetable bars full with choices, because a student might select a chicken nugget that might, you know, fall on a list that thinks, you know, it's not as clean as it should be, but if their whole rest of their plate is filled with whole grain dinner roll and fresh fruits and vegetables, they're doing that 85% of the time, consuming the diet that we need them to have. So I don't know, I just said a lot. So I'm gonna pass it. So stop, Maureen, Red, stop. Pass over to some cautionary, like, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I like a couple of things that you said there for sure. And one of those is that it's a spectrum, right? That process doesn't necessarily mean bad. It could be, it makes foods more accessible for people. And I think you have to look at it as a continuum. Something that's frozen is going to be better, like a frozen vegetable is mildly processed versus maybe vegetables that are taken and, you know, minced and other ingredients added and put into something else, preservatives, those types of things. So, you know, it is a spectrum, and you have to look at everything in the context of the whole diet. I love that you said that. So foods aren't neither, you know, good or bad, but it's what else are you eating them with? And the other thing, you know, I love that you said is sometimes you have to look past the front of the label on packaging. Keep in mind, you know, I brought one thing I always think is, you know, the front of a label, this is Del Monte green beans. This is where they market the food, right? This is their billboard. And so something as simple as green beans, I think it's, you know, interesting on the front they have on this, I'm not sure you can see, it says made with sea salt. Okay,
Still salt.
Right? Salt is salt, but they try to get you in to buy that. It also says non-GMO. Why, you know, non-GMO is kind of a buzzword. So they want you to think these green beans are better than the ones on the shelf that don't have that label, when in fact, there are not any green beans that have GMOs. So green beans are not a crop that's grown with GMOs. So all green beans are.
It's kind of like when they say potato chips are gluten-free. Obviously, they're fried potatoes. So there
Right.
may be gluten in those.
Right.
But that's on every bag of potato chips.
Yep. And then I thought it was interesting, it says no preservatives. Well, that's kind of what salt is in these, right? Salt preserves these. So you just want to be mindful of looking at that ingredient panel. I know we're sending a resource that has different ingredients and what those actually mean and some of the science behind those. Not all things that you can't pronounce, like you said, are necessarily bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as the resident plant-based gal / vegan on the team, you've probably all seen these. They're on, I think, about most restaurants' menus these days. So I think you see like plant-based patties and you're like, oh, it's plants, it's like really healthy. And to Marge's point, you're like 20 grams of protein, no soy, no gluten. You see here again, non-GMO, you know, now even meatier. And then you flip it over, the list is, you know, easier to read than other brands that I shall not mention of plant-based patties. But there are still things like there's coconut oil in here, and there's still 6 grams of saturated fat. There's still 18 grams of fat in here. So this is by no means just a free-for-all veggie. So just be mindful of that. Again, they do a really great job with marketing, no soy, no gluten, that it's vegan, it's kosher. So you just really have to be an informed consumer. I mean, if you're wanting to eat less animal-based products, this is a great alternative if you don't want to actually eat ground up patty vegetables. So this would be a great medium. Should you eat these every single day? No, you shouldn't. This wouldn't be a choice. But if you're going to a restaurant and you want a burger, by all means, you could eat one of these and that would be fine.
Awesome. Well, again, we talk at the introduction of this call today that we couldn't do this without our logistical partners. And so when we started nerding out and talking all of this as a team, we also contacted Gordon Food Service because most of us are a part of purchasing through group purchasing, as well as through logistical partnerships with large distributors like Gordon Food Service. So we wanted to gain perspective. And so we are very thrilled. We have an Elena on our team, but this is an Elena on the GFS corporate team who is actually helping us today by introducing what Gordon Food Service is going to do to provide information for you all as you order food products with these things in mind, with product transparency. So I'm so excited, Elena, to have you today. I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and what Gordon is going to do to commit to help us be better at understanding what we're purchasing.
Yes. So my name's Elena, last name Beist. It's a very West Michigan last name. So that's a hard one to pronounce there. But I've been Gordon Food Service for over 25 plus years now. And I am more recently in this product transparency role. As you can imagine, that's a wide and deep net that we cast with that particular topic. But for the purposes of today, we'd really like to hone into this Buy American topic. It's been a meaty topic for a very, very long time for all of you, but more so with the new regulation that was passed last year, or the updates to the regulation last year. We just wanted to take some time to talk through this particular topic and show you what GFS is doing and how to navigate it within our environment. So we'll be going through an array of topics, but we'll hop right into the 2024 regulation changes and just a quick overview there. A lot of words here. I'm not going to read them to you, but in a nutshell, the government's working to make sure that we increase the spend of increase what we're doing in the non-domestic food purchases in limit. So you can see that it's a phased approach, and it's spread across 7 school years. So for the 2025-2026 school year, that's going to be going up to, or going to go to 10%. And then you can see that cascade as we proceed throughout the rest of the school year is going to 8 and 5%. Meaning we need to have better information available for all of our operators in order to make the purchases they need to align to this regulation. So as we move into the next slide here, just a quick overview of what GFS's data is and what it isn't. So many of you have probably gotten into our data for a long time, and within the product description itself, it may say, we'll use the potato chip example out there. So Gordon Food Service potato chips, gluten-free, within the description, right? And as we move forward, we're going to be eliminating that product descriptor as gluten-free within there. And the reason for that as we move forward is that product has a universal number within our systems, and it may not mean that that product has that attribute that flows through it. So kosher is a really, really great example of that, in that in this facility that we're getting from the vendor, it is kosher, but as that same material number moves into another manufacturing facility, it may not be kosher certified. So we really want to make sure that we're strengthening up what we're providing to our customers, removing that from the material description and making it a product attribute. And when it becomes a product attribute, it then makes it something that's searchable and reportable within our systems. So when you think about Gordon ordering, when it's a product attribute, now it can be a selection within the filter, for example. The other thing that we do different at Gordon Food Service is we do not make the decisions on the product attributes ourselves. Could we? Possibly, but we want to make sure that these are shored up to be as accurate and legally sound as possible as they enter into your environment. Therefore, we go directly to the vendor to obtain that data. We don't let it cascade through GDSN or any of those environments just because we've learned that those environments are a little bit flawed. Along with us obtaining it from the vendor, we're also getting a legal certification that what they're claiming is true, so we can hold the vendor accountable if that claim is later inaccurate. I will also say that the data that we have been collecting is completely integrated. So as I mentioned, it's not something that's just sitting within a spreadsheet. It's fully within our systems, so it can flow within our ordering systems and our reporting systems that your sales rep may serve you within. A couple things that I want to make sure that I kind of call forward because this is vendor provided information, we cannot mandate that they provide it quite yet. So it's a vendor optional aspect of things. So there may be instances where you are looking up a product and you're like, I know this has a Buy American claim or another claim within our suite of product attributes, but it's not showing as that. We have some internal processes for our teams to be able to notify me of those instances. And then I can go professionally pester our vendors to make sure that we get that information. So know that we know that this is kind of an imperfect environment and we're doing our best to close all of those gaps. But we do really rely on the communication of both our operators and our sales teams to make sure that we are taking care of that as best as possible. And so as you go forward with that, to report that, I would just reach out to your sales reps and have them let me know, or someone with their product support team, so we can resolve that. So finding GFS eligible products is probably the hardest thing to do sometimes, but we try to make it simple. So I recommend when you go into Gordon ordering that you start a search based on the product category that you're looking for. So in this, I add an example of apples, but that could be chicken, it could be whatever the case may be. And once you get the products kind of loaded up onto the screen, to the left-hand side of your Gordon ordering screen should be an area that has a lot of different filters within there. Buy American is one of those many filters, and you simply go over point to click, and then once that's selected, all the products that we have received Buy American responses from our vendors on should populate within that screen. For you, I know some people, I like to dig in deeper. I'm a gluten-free person. And so when I'm out searching online for products, I will look at it for the search filter, but then I will verify that itself. So if you go into the product details itself of whatever product it is, you will also find the Buy American flag within that product detail as well. And I know there's some of you that may not order online, and that's okay as well. We do have reporting that our sales reps have in place. So should you want a list of all the Buy American products that we have for NEDC, there's a report that our sales rep can pull for you. You just simply need to ask them for the Buy American assortment report. They can filter and refine that by product category, or you can get a complete listing of all the products that we hold. And of course, the reverse side of this, the other side of this is having the Buy American letter. So we do have these within a library, which is in Gordon Experience in the K through 12 documentation page. I linked an access link to it. So I don't know if we're able to share that out, but that essentially, if you click into that, will bring you exactly to the site. We are working through a lot of technology upgrades in this area, but right now, if you do not see something, a letter that you know that should be there, especially if we have a Buy American claim on it, you just need to reach out to your sales rep and we'll work to get that done. So we do that as quickly as we possibly can. Either your sales rep will get that for you, or we'll work with them as a partner to do that. As we move forward, though, I do want to rest assured that we're working a lot in the enablement of our technology here. And right now, it's been a very manual library that we've kept. And as we move forward, we're creating some logic that will go out and tell us when we're missing a certificate, when the certificate is expiring, et cetera. So it should be much more automated and more reliable as we move into the future. And so that is a 2025 initiative for us. For reporting, I'm on the cuspis. I just was chatting with some people today to see if I could formally update this slide. But within the next few weeks, the Buy American attribute will be added to our operational reporting that a lot of you probably access today. This is a self-serve reporting that you can get into. And among all the other velocity things that you're running within that report, Buy American will just be added as an additional field so that when you're looking to do Buy American kind of cuts of that data, you can add that in and do it yourself. So it won't be a new report to have another one to remember. It'll just be added into the reporting that's out there today. Again, I want to just make sure that you remember that we're limited to the information that we receive from the vendor. So again, if you see any of those data discrepancies or something just feels wrong, you can reach out to me and we'll work through that together. So as we move forward, the biggest thing that I ran into, and it's kind of funny because I'm working in product transparency, right? But I need transparency myself, is it was getting to the root of people to tell us the nitty gritty of what's going on. We want to hear the ugly truths of where we're falling short for the solutions and the ways that you guys are looking for these products. So the more that we hear back from folks, the better positioned that we are. Right now, based on what's been provided to us, we are working to create greater vendor accountability. So I had mentioned this is a vendor optional program at this time, but we do know that there's attributes such as Buy American, gluten-free, kosher, halal, that are almost a requirement to do business these days. I shouldn't say almost, they are a requirement to do business these days. So we're working through ways with our category teams as well as the data infrastructure aspects of things to create more accountability so we have a very high completion in these spaces. We also recognize that we have a lot of new people on our teams and that sometimes when you come in asking a question, there might be like a lot of varying degrees of response times within that. So we're working to help train up our teams and get a quicker response to most of the questions that are coming in on these topics. And as I mentioned, we're really leaning into technology to enable us to get quicker and faster and better in this space. So working on those certification expiration reminders, getting a master library that's not only by American and those other K through 12 documents that you'll see in there, but more comprehensive to the other certifications that we have out there too. So it won't be a multitude of different places to go to. Again, it will be a one-stop shop for any certification that you need. And again, really digging in deep and addressing all the data discrepancies that may exist out there today. So we don't have a ton of extra time, but I'd be remiss not to mention that we're just talking one of many, many attributes. We have almost 200 attributes, product attributes that we track today. They all fall within these categories that we have up here on the screen. So we have animal care, that includes like cage-free, which is now a regulation in many states as we move forward. We have the cleaner ingredients. So the red dye that just came through, that was just passed, is addressed with one of our attributes within there, the dietary aspect of things that I've been talking about with gluten-free, kosher, et cetera. We also have a robust amount of attributes within the environmental friendly aspect of things. So made with recycled materials, renewable, compostable, et cetera. The ethical sourced sustainable seafood, and of course the supplier DEI aspect of things. So those were just one of many. Also, just kind of dangling it out there a little bit. This is a huge topic. I heard it teed up a little bit, but the local purchasing is also a big thing within our school systems. We do have our nearby program that's out there today that can let you know what products that we carry in-house that are local based on the definition that you would like to create for local. And we also have an enhanced local reporting that's offered to 4 states today, predominantly used within Michigan right now to serve the Michigan 10 cent program. But this local program goes a bit deeper than our nearby program, offering the farm name and location to actually attain some of the state and federal money that's out there in the local aspect of things. So I think we're reaching time. Do we want to take questions, Maureen, or do we want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start with one from our team. And I think the last part of this, you just really, we're standing in Sandridge's newer studio as they rebuild and build out. We have local companies that provide food through Gordon, and they are clean. They have clean label items. How did they come to you as a manufacturer and allow you to help them put that so they could become on our report? So like we would love more of our products that are available to schools that maybe need to buy ready, set, serve. Just because it's ready to eat doesn't mean it's ultra processed, they're not clean label. So tell us a little bit how you help the vendors and manufacturers provide that information to you as a logistical partner.
Yeah, so we have been putting out vendor training for our vendors to simply understand the importance of this topic to our customers and consumers, right? So we've been going through that as well as how to interact with our system. And we've been kind of on a tiered level going through that. So not all vendors have been reached out to yet. But we've been going through that just because it's a little bit more time consuming than an average solicitation aspect of things. And then we have rolled out new technology that our vendors can interact with on the fly. So if they change a formula to a particular product, they can enter into this technology and make a change. So it doesn't require the spreadsheet passing back and forth anymore. So I would say training and then looping them into our technology has been the two things that we've been doing to get their engagement within this. If Sandridge, if you'd like to reach out to me, we can get you up and going and make sure that we're highlighting your products in the way that they need to be.
Yep, I love that. I love that. So if there are any questions, please put them in the chat. We don't have a lot of time to address them directly, but we will, obviously, we have a beeline now in an email to Elena from Gordon Food Service, who really is helpful in helping us help you navigate your ordering and logistical. So I'll give it a moment for any questions. Do you guys have any questions for Elena as it relates to we program Healthy Meal Planner Pro. It's a USDA approved software. And so, a lot of times we're looking, like you said, to verify, inspect what we expect for the spec sheets. And so these types of things are very helpful as we program USDA approved software ingredients into recipes, into cycles, so that we are then able to tag these attributes and really, your job title is product transparency. One of our mantras in My School Menus is menu transparency. So, again, this is all of we hope you see the village of support that starts with the manufacturer level all the way through the logistical partners and the menu programming partners to really help you as a school entity really be confident in the products you're serving, by the choices you make, be it Buy American because we have to, or certainly meeting dietary specifications, or these new now more strict kind of scrutiny of the clean label and what that is going to evolve into. Are there any questions in the chat, David, that you might see or answer? Or if not, we can move on. And Elena, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate all of our partnerships. We say it takes a village, and we couldn't thank you enough for joining us today and spending some time with us to understand better the resources Gordon has for us to successfully navigate this.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here with all of you.
Perfect. Well, the conversation won't stop, guys. So we're going to move on. There's a couple of things as we talk about menu planning. I think the next slide, Sarah put together a couple of things, and we're going back to the basic guides. So it's reading labels. So we've trained and helped support how to get spec sheets. Many of you are up for administrative review, so this Buy American stuff was very timely, but also just understanding what, it's not a spec sheet, and a CN label isn't just a to-do. It really is meant to be an information set for you to be able to navigate informed decisions. So Sarah, talk a little bit about the slides you put here, like looking at ingredients.
Yeah, so look at these ingredient decks. So normally one of the big things everybody says is how many ingredients are in things, right? So if we look at the left versus the right looks like it has a bit more ingredients in it than the left. And sometimes that's right as we're making decisions. How do we make decisions at the grocery store on what we should buy? But if we really go down through here, the things are very similar. And then I think sometimes when things get put in front of things like organic or natural, you think, oh, that's so much healthier. I should buy that option. So this is a conversation my husband and I regularly have when we go to the grocery store. So these are two snacks that he really enjoys. And here we go. So the blue label was the good old fashioned Oreo. Okay. So about $3 a pack for those. And then next to that is, not to beat up on Whole Foods, but any of the health stores, this is their brand of what is still an Oreo. So if we're talking ultra processed, these are both ultra processed. But again, like Marge said, if you look at the front where they're doing the advertising, they tell you that it's peanut free, that it's non-GMO. So you're thinking, oh, it's healthier, it's from Whole Foods, it has to be a better choice. The nutritionals on these guys are almost identical. It's just the Whole Foods Oreos are going to set you back about $6. And you could just get the regular good old fashioned Oreos for $3. So it's not healthier. My husband tried to bring those home from Whole Foods and said, I'm going to eat these because they're healthy. And I said, well, they're not. thanks for spending $6 on cookies, that I could have made at home for $1. So then we talk about organic versus non-organic. I know this is a huge discussion. And I know that most people think that if you're a registered dietitian, that if you were to walk into any of our houses, that every single thing in our pantry or our fridge or our freezer would be organic. It's not, I can say that for myself. You have to make decisions, right? And how do you make those choices? So as dietitians, I think we would agree if it's something like an apple that you're going to eat the skin on, maybe the organic option is a better option if it's feasible and affordable to you. Something like a potato, if you're just going to take the skin off of it and chop it up and boil it and make mashed potatoes, just buy the regular potatoes, save your money. So thinking through things like that, and really at the end of the day, I think we can all agree as dietitians, we just rather you eat your fruits and veggies, even if that means they're not organic.
Right.
Yes,
Sure.
the 80-20 rule. We'll go back to that.
Yes.
So, Marge, we always have you for inspiration. Sarah, we're gonna let you go.
All right.
What else do you have to close up the topic and get us into, that's our thing. We love to inspire you to think about whole food recipes. We know scratch cooking and speed scratch cooking isn't for everybody. Our menu process is really trying to meet you where you're at. And we talk about dietary guidelines. It's all planned accordingly. But it's got to be fun because my thing, it's not nutrition unless the kids follow it. So we have to figure out ways, right? We have to get creative in our partnerships with our industry folks, and we also have to excite kids. So
yeah, and so I think you want to look at, like you said, your infrastructure, what your goals are, and we have a lot of varied recipes. No doubt we have highly processed recipes in our database, and we have some more skilled, more ingredient, scratch recipes, and we have recipes in between. And if you see one that you'd like tweaked in some way to move it one way of that direction or another, we are certainly willing to work with you and do that. So in sharing some recipes and inspiration for the season, I hear we're getting a cold spell, really cold. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't throw out there the soup. And what I have here, again, is more prepared, frozen, canned soups that do have CN labels, product formulation statements, so that they can be used. Remember, again, you need that documentation. So these are some pre-made soups, but we also have scratch-made soup recipes in our database. I just put a few here. I think last time I counted, we have like 30. So feel free to reach out if you want to think about putting soup on your menu for these cold days. And then we also do have more soup recipes within the Healthy Pro global database. And I just like to remind people of this as a resource, as if you have Healthy Pro, their global database of recipes is a great area for inspiration. So what you see here is how you can find those recipes. If you do a simple search by going to recipes and then clicking on the global, and I just typed soup in there, but you could type whatever you might like, maybe some new breakfast recipes for National School Breakfast Week coming up. You can do that, and that's at your fingertips. We can use those recipes then again for inspiration to insert GFS specific ingredients or the ingredients that you're using, or modify the recipe. In thinking about some theme days that are coming up, we have National Cook a Baked Potato, Sweet Potato Day, right?
It's a day for everything.
Yes.
I love it.
And again, pretty simple here. I think with vegetables, the less processed, the better. So we have a few roasted sweet potato recipe, harvest hash, where you can introduce some of the other seasonal root vegetables if you would like any of those recipes. Also, the harvest of the month for February is carrots. So again, a great way to use carrots, real simple, harvest glazed carrots. I saw a recipe for this Moroccan carrot salad that looks really good.
Kind of global on trend.
Yeah, so it has some great flavors, get some beans in there is a great way to use maybe local carrots. If you're gonna shred some of them, maybe use some for this recipe and then some in this muffin recipe that's a little bit more scratch. So again, it depends what you're looking for to feature carrots.
Love it.
And then, of course, we want to talk about National School Breakfast Week that will be coming up that first week of March. It will be here before you know it. I think we really want to see maybe using this time to try maybe some scratch things, but ways to reduce sugar in recipes. And so always when I see pictures of things that people have done for National School Breakfast Week, of course, we see a lot of donuts with frosting on them and sweets and moderation, that's fine. But maybe this is a good time to test out a more savory breakfast item and have some taste testing of that to celebrate National School Breakfast Week. And then, you know, you can prepare students for what's to come when we have to, you know, reduce the sugar in those breakfast menus.
I love it. I love it.
And of course, you know, again, we have our support ticket system, just that support@pplc.info for any recipe or menu support. If we help develop your menus, just reach out to us at that email.
Absolutely. So again, you know, February is going to be here in a couple of weeks. It's cold, lots of good ideas. Thank you, Marge, always for your
Sure.
inspiration and really providing you with information to help you move your menu. I'm going to introduce and bring on my partner in crime, and in red. So her and I share a brain and often don't call each other before, but we match. So, you know, health is wealth. A lot of times people think healthy food is too expensive for our school budgets. And so one of the things we try to do is not only provide you with information about products you can order that are ready to serve and that are ready to cook or whole food based, but how to buy them and how to buy them affordably. So Tina, talk a little bit about what you do with this market basket analysis.
So this is something I have to give a shout out first and foremost to all of you guys that are out there working in school food service, because if we have not seen a growth in fresh fruits and vegetables in the past 5 years even, you know, this is one of the things that we're looking at, and they're talking about clean labels and doing things minimally processed, and you guys are already doing that. So, and this is one of the things as we look at it, the market basket, and these are the fresh fruits and vegetables that you're putting out. So we've combined with Feed Our Future to do this market basket to kind of price it out. Everybody always thinks we're buying local, it's more expensive. Not necessarily. Check this out and you can go through, and again, the harvest of the month items this for the winter are carrots, hydro lettuce, the hydrobib lettuce, potatoes, and sweet potatoes. And this is just kind of a comparison cost, so you can see, can I afford it? Can I not? Maybe I buy a little bit more expensive on this one, but then make it out in the other way. And anybody who knows me knows I am the penny pincher. This is, you know, first and foremost, it comes down to what are we going to spend? How are we going to afford to do our menus the correct way? So as we go forward, I want you to also think, we're talking about fitness. Don't forget about your financial fitness as you're going through. Beginning of the year, let's think about it. So let's look at your HPS. Let's look at your commodities. Let's see where we're at. Look at our commodity usage and check. First of the year, where's our thermometers at? I mean, I love this tool. It's probably one of my favorite tools. I check it on a weekly basis, even though I know where it is, but it's just so cool to look at. And it's going to let you know where's your money sitting right now. Are we using our commodities money to the correct? Are we behind? Do we need to pick it up? Right now, beginning of the year, again, I can't believe it, but we're already halfway through the school year. So think about that. Have we hit that 50% mark? And this one, we can see they've already hit the 50%. Do we need to add more money to our DOD? You know, again, now's the time to do it before you start. Think about that when you look at your thermometer and you look at your PAL report and see where your commodities are. You can't use your reallocated money for your DOD. So make sure you've not, you know, if you're going to transfer it and you have some money left, let's transfer it over. So another thing, as we're looking through the prices and everything, is we already start doing this. We do the fresh fruits and vegetables every day on our menus. But let's think about another little way to save our money. So next slide is we have a couple different things we talk about from package to scratch. Sometimes the little packaged items, especially now, sometimes I know some of our green shields are turning yellow. So let's think about different ways we can do this. Slice of pizza, you look at it, they run anywhere from 78 cents to $1.05 per slice when you're buying it that way. So, you know, how can we do it minimally? How can we cook it from scratch? a crust. If you have your crust, you use your cheese, your sauce, and those cheeses and the sauce are also taken down from your commodity money. So you're still using your commodity money as well. When you make from scratch, it's about 58 cents a slice. A little bit of a difference. And you think 58 cents times how many pizzas are we doing? 500 slices a day? That's a huge cost savings. Same with your salsa. You know, that's, to me, salsa is the easiest scratch, semi-scratch item we can put on a menu that makes everybody look at, oh man, this is great. This is just like at home. So we can use the cup salsa, which is 41 cents, or we can make it from scratch by just doing it ourselves, 28 cents. We all have food processors. We have those RoboQs sitting in our counters, dust them off. Let's use them. Another last thing, we have National School Breakfast Week coming up. How many of us are doing yogurt parfaits and, you know, doing our grab and go yogurt parfaits? You know, a granola, individually wrapped granola, only counts for 1 ounce grain, runs about 36 cents. If we're using it from bulk, it's about 40 cents. So we can make it from scratch, just have everything that we have in our kitchen. It's gonna cost 15 cents for a 2 ounce grain. So it's double what we're doing. And it's very simple. And that's what I'm gonna show you today.
So we would be remiss if we didn't start cooking. You know, it is Platonic Partners. It is the new year. As she pulls out, like through the magic of TV, I love that Tina does this as an operator at Woodridge Schools. So many of us think, oh, it's easy to write a recipe. It looks good on paper. I can analyze it. It'll meet. But is it easy enough to make? Have you been able to convince your staff to make it?
Let me tell you, I just had it yesterday and I took it out and they're like, beforehand, they're like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Well, we did it, set it up yesterday at our high school and the ladies are like, oh my gosh, this is great. We had staff coming in, they were excited about it. And the ladies were excited about it and it was so simple and they loved it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I need the recipe. We need to do it at home. So it's very simple and it's a very easy granola. Literally, just put the granola, just the oats right in there. And then you're going to make your sauce to put in there. Very simple ingredients. You're gonna put it now, we can do it on the stovetop or in your, I will be honest with you, today I did it in the microwave to warm the sauce together just to make sure that we could do it. And so it worked that way too. I do it at home. I don't have to want to dirty a pan at home. I will do it that way. And it's just very simple, brown sugar, honey, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of salt, a little bit of vanilla, and apple juice. How many of us, we have apple juice? We know the kids love them. So we have that apple juice sitting around in every one of our kitchens. And the only sugar in here is the brown sugar. And you just put it in, you can put it in your pan and you can warm it up by the magic TV.
Yes.
I already have it, but you just combine it and you want to make it just to this consistency. You don't want to boil it. That's the one key thing. Don't boil the mixture. And then you just dump it into your granola and do your oats.
Because the burning, it'll scorch the sugar.
Yes,
And then
it'll-
you've ruined it. You don't want to do that.
And you know if you do it wrong, because I have done that before, it stinks. So you know if you burnt it. And all you're gonna do is mix it up. Very simple, very easy to do, literally takes 5 minutes to mix it up. So,
Great. And then you're gonna put it on a baking sheet and bake it for a little bit?
well, you're gonna bake it on a low,
Okay.
it's 250 degrees, you're gonna bake it. Stick it in the oven for an hour. You know, you're gonna put it in and forget about it. Don't look back at it, just let it roll it for 250 degrees. Just let it keep going and you don't even have to turn it, twist it, nothing. And you're just gonna lay it out on your sheet pan, just like that. Stick it in your oven, 250, and
forget about it, she said.
Forget about
I will say, if you're a mom and a school professional, the reason many of us got into this, myself included, I want to make this like on a snow day with Addison, who likes to make her own yogurt parfaits in the morning. She also eats lunch at Brecksville Middle School and likes to pick yogurt parfaits or make her own yogurt parfaits to take and eat it for lunch. So again, a good breakfast item, a good lunch item, wholesome. Also, you know, even steal the idea and share with your families how to make a scaled version. Healthy Pro scales it for you.
yes, it does.
You could make it for a family or you could make it for a school size.
And the benefit is not only is this cooking low and slow in your kitchen, it's smelling up your entire building. So it wafts through, the smell goes through the kitchen, it goes through the cafeteria, goes into the buildings, and you have everybody coming in. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing down there? And everybody loves it. Nobody cannot, and as we're talking about sugar levels and everything changing next year, what a better way, I mean, literally, there's like 4 grams of sugar in this in a serving. So it's gonna be
Easy
much
breezy.
easier than
Easy
using the
breezy.
stuff that's prepackaged.
Easy breezy. And we now want to bring in more chef talk because, you know, this looks very easy. And, you know, we, again, nerd out in Nutritionville here for Pasonic. And Elena, who you've met before, the Pasonic Elena, is one of our newest members to the team, but also loves this granola idea for something she loves to eat for breakfast. We're not going to get down the TikTok, worrying about it going away, but many of you know social media influences what kids eat. And young professionals like Elena look at reels and look at Instagram food pages. And one of the power breakfast items, as we talk about what can we do to decrease sugar in breakfast and maybe increase protein and overall grab and goes, again, is another hot topic. So I'm gonna let you talk about your favorite. I love it too, but go ahead.
So speaking of the granola and it smelling absolutely delicious, and it's super easy and super simple, as you could see, a couple different ways that we can incorporate this granola is looking at parfaits. Now, not your actual parfait, your normal parfait, but we're thinking cottage cheese, some more dairy focused, dairy forward. Cottage cheese is a great source of protein, and I think it tastes absolutely delicious. Maybe to some of you, but to me it is absolutely delicious. So as you know, just like with yogurt parfaits, you're just going to add everything to your cup with the correct measurements. So you're simply just going to add your strawberries first. So I like to have the strawberries at the bottom, it's really kind of colorful. So I'm going to do that here first. There we go. And then I'm going to then add my cottage cheese. Now, one of kind of a Pasonic tip, I don't know if any of you are aware, but sometimes cottage cheese can be a little bit of like a textural issue. So one of the easy ways to avoid that is to blend the cottage cheese. So then it can become kind of creamy. So that's kind of a good alternative, especially if you think that's going to be a problem by any means. So then once you add your cottage cheese, you're then going to do a few different things. In this case, I have jelly here. Or you could do honey, just to add a little bit more of sweetness and kind of bring it all together. So you're just going to put that on top, kind of adds more of like a cheesecake theme to this parfait. There we go. And then you're going to add your fruit on top here. Perfect. And then we're just going to kind of top some granola on top, making sure that measurement, of course, is okay. And it looks pretty beautiful, pretty colorful and trendy.
I love that. I love it to be on trend. And so again, you hit on a couple of items. So maybe the cottage cheese would be good with some of your older kids. I know we talked at the top of the hour about ultra processed foods. Some people are looking and turning their yogurt labels and they're surprised that maybe their yogurt of choice is considered filled with things that might fall on that ultra processed side. So adding a fresh 100% jam or fruit, natural fruit to even plain yogurt or cottage cheese, non-whipped or whipped, is a really good way to control the contents and the ingredients instead of just always leaning into some of those packaged, free-flavored, unfortunately colorful products that we're going to be seeing under scrutiny based on some of the top of the hour discussion. Right. So perfect. I love this. And we're in the house at Sandridge, so we would be remiss if we didn't bring in our resident brother from Sandridge. So first of all, just thank you to Mike Sandridge, who popped his head in earlier. They are under construction and still welcome us here for lots of reasons. They are partners in really teaching us how industry can support good decisions for your menu when you don't have the time to do it. So I know many of you go to the Sandridge booth, as I do when we go to the Gordon Food Service shows. Very tasty foods, but also cleaner label. Talk a little bit about Sandridge's process.
Yeah, thanks so much. So for our Brickman's label salads, all of our Brickman salads are going to have no high fructose corn syrup, no added colors, and no added preservatives as well too. So, and all of those are going to be in a pouch. So those have been through our HPP process with that. So
I love it. I love it. And so we know that, it's not nutritional unless they eat it. And oftentimes there's two things that happen. It's got to be flavor forward, but it also sometimes staff, people have staffing to start from a pulled chicken product to add all the flavor enhancements and maybe try something different. Many of us are looking down our menus for February and March and thinking about fun new current ways to add flavor. Talk a little bit about this vibe, because you know what, everybody wants, it's cold here. Everybody wants to put on that Caribbean music, pretend with their sunglasses, they're maybe on a beach somewhere.
I'm wearing the wrong attire.
Exactly.
Yes.
But talk a little bit about this fun way your chicken salad
So, yes, absolutely. So what we did here today is we actually took our Brickman's chicken salad, and again, even though we're using our chicken salad today, this can be used with our Brickman's tuna salad as well, everything we're doing. So we actually took this with our fully cooked brown rice. So our our tuna salad and our chicken salad, the Brickman's ones come in 2 5-pound pouches, ready to go. So as far as you're talking about the laboring part of it, it's really just open up and you're ready to go with it. And same with also our brown rice. So as you guys know, we have multiple different rices, our cilantro lime, the chili lime that we've used before. Today we're focusing with our brown rice here. So basically what we're going to do here, and I'm going to just kind of move this up a little bit. We started off some of our brown rice, our fully cooked brown rice, and we're actually taking some of our Brickman's chicken salad into this as well. So it's about 2 cups if you were going to do it batch like that. And then we're going to have actually some of this diced up pineapple that we're adding to this. So we're going to take this pineapple.
I love it.
And then we're going to actually just mix this all together. Now we did a couple different versions of this already. So with this, the same mixture, I'm going to move this to the side here and show you.
3 simple ingredients, pretty easy. So, we talked Buy American. It's my AR brain is telling me, pineapple tidbits, fill out your Buy American form for that. But it is a tropical way
Sure.
to change a flavor really quickly.
Yep.
And many of us have it in reserve, with, not heavy syrup, either diced, which I came in and saw you dicing this
Dicing up
from
some
fresh
fresh ones,
pineapple. But also canned
Sure.
in water, and not in heavy syrup, clean label, if you will, forward product.
Yeah, and speaking of just a few ingredients into this, all of the Brickman's salads that we have I would say 7 to maybe 9 ingredients, give or take. I mean, so if you look at the label on them, you're going to see it's just a few ingredients and they're all pronounceable.
Okay, I love it.
That's great. So what we're going to do with this first, we're going to kind of switch this around and show you what we did already. So the first thing we did here is just put it over some shredded lettuce, the cottage cheese with this mixture on top of it here as well. We took this and here we just placed it into some little bibs of lettuce here. And then the last thing we were going to do, little lettuce cups. And then the last thing that we were going to do on camera here is actually just take this mixture and just put it onto the bun here as well.
I love it. Easy breezy. So if your kids like it on any vehicle, you have a slider bun, you have a slip bun, you have a whole grain hamburger bun, you can definitely do an easy chicken salad vibe with that little, hint of tropical joy.
Yep.
We used to have a recipe and we still have it in our database. We see schools that do meat less Fridays if they're following Lent coming up here. So we think
Right around the
a little forward. So I love the idea of the cottage cheese with the tuna salad. We used to do even one that had all the scoops on it. So a chicken salad, a tuna salad, and a cottage cheese on a bed of lettuce, just to change up those grab and go items you see kids gravitate towards. And staff, really.
Sure.
So you're getting the adults, the teachers, the staff excited about new items, maybe lighter items when you start thinking spring break.
Yeah.
We're all thinking.
Another really easy way to do all these too is with the chicken or the tuna again, is any of the no salt spices and things like that. You can add to these as well too, in addition to other fruits or vegetables or things like that. So very simple to do, a couple really easy recipes.
I love it. I love it. And as always, we will drop this in the chat and also in the follow-up notes. The Gordon Food Service Sandridge page has a wealth of recipes. So again, we talk about how we work in partnership. If there's something on there you want to do, you feel like you don't have the staff, you need to order in some of these things pre-done, let us know. We can help work with Sandridge to craft recipes that help get the job done, right?
Yep, absolutely. And that is gfs.sandridge.com. And when you go on there, you're going to see a bunch of recipes on there. And also on top of that too, you're able to pull all the spec sheets for all 100+ items that we make for Gordon Food Service as well.
Absolutely. And so when we talked about what logistically we do for the opportunities
I'm just
for,
going to pull it up actually.
yeah,
for us.
there we go.
Yep.
There we go.
Tell me
Gotta
when we're
love-
live. Yep. Okay. So, yep. So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about it for a second.
Please.
So, yep. So this is gfs.sandridge.com. You scroll down through, you're going to see every single category that we have. So you can go into each one of these categories. And if you want to say soup season or whatever you want to click on. So Z, you want to just click on any one of these guys for me? It doesn't really matter too much. Clicking on coleslaw, scroll head down, all the different coleslaws we make, just click on any one. It doesn't matter again.
Ooh, lime jalapeno.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
So a red
there.
slaw here, you're going to tell you how it's packed. You can actually hit the buy now button right there and it'll take you right to GFS online ordering, right to that item as well. And we talked about the recipe tab up there. You can click on that and see all the different recipes. You can scroll down through and see all those guys. You can actually register right to the Gordon show right here up here as well. All these recipes are printable, so you can click on any one of these and it'll take you right to the GFS online ordering. And then of course the training hub part there also will have some live webinars that we have done here in the past. We just did a mac and cheese one on Monday. So this is kind of the one-stop shop for all of it. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Always great
you,
resources, great partnership. And you bring up a good example of what our partnership has extended, because guess what? It's
that time of
time
year.
of year. It's January. I feel like, you know, I don't want to sound like Mariah Carey singing "It's Time" because I don't have that vocal range. But it is time to announce our mystery chef competition. This is our third year.
Yes.
Hard
to believe.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Grateful with the partnership from Sandridge. We really collab on this product, this process with Gordon Food Service and with Sandridge, the facility, boxing these fun
Yep.
things. So for those of you who don't know a little bit about our mystery chef, this is our third season. What we have done with Masonic Training is try to be inspirational and innovative for you by providing a mystery box of ingredients. And these ingredients, again, when we talk about what schools have the power to do, is it investigate their own process of where they're at in terms of making speed scratch recipes, but also using some of these products that might be more convenient to get on the menu, given that the restrictions you might have in your infrastructure, your equipment, your staffing, what have you. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to show the slides that are going to tell you the deadlines. New this year. So Keith is one of our judges. He helps pack our boxes. Gordon Food Service is on that team. We get them out to you. We have a list of important dates for you not to miss. And so today is our launch. We are going to put into our chat here and send out the opportunity for you to register online. We are only taking 12 contestants because we want to keep this quality, right? A quality process. It takes a lot to get these boxes together, to get out to you in Northeast Ohio. Unfortunately, we are going to keep it in that realm. But if you're a school, a Masonic school or a non-Masonic school that orders food with Gordon Food Service and is willing to be a participant, we will take 12 participants. They will get a box. The mystery chef box will be packed in the early February 10th.
And everybody's getting the same box.
Everybody's getting
Yep.
the same box. And in that, there'll be a pantry list of items you can use in your own kitchen to add to the box. But really, the parameters are create, enjoy, inspire your team to create something with the ingredients. So today is the start. The 31st of January is going to be the last day we're going to have a registration open. So again, please, the first 12 will be accepted. We are excited. We last year had more than that.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to get people that either are returned to this and want to win it this year, or are just excited to do innovative professional development. February 5th, there will be a question and answer session. It's optional. We will go on a Zoom meeting for those who are doing this. We'll answer your questions. You'll get, what you can use in your pantry, how we are going to judge it. You'll look at scoring metrics, and then you're also new this year. We'll be delivering the boxes, but also you will be able to pick up the boxes if you're going to the local school nutrition association meeting. So if you are on this call and you are a SAND member, a Sandy, I'm going to be presenting at that SAND meeting on February the 13th in Northeast Ohio. So we're going to surprise you with a little unboxing there. So if you're not a part of it, you're going to be able to see a recipient of a mystery chef box, be able to unbox it and see the contents and kind of get the vibe of excitement. We will be also adding some new wow this year. So here's the new wow. First of all, it's very selfishly motivated because in years past, we've looked at your video submissions, we've read your recipes, we've seen the pictures, and quite frankly, we were all looking at each other around computers and we're quite hungry. So this year, if you are a contestant and you want to invite a Masonic partner or a Gordon Food Service or judge to come on site, we will do our best to accommodate that with our schedules to come on site when you are making these recipes and taste testing them. So that's a new. The second is we are also cognizant that many of you have good ideas. We always talk about versatility, and you just saw versatility in this chicken salad and different ways to do it. So in this mystery box, there's versatile ways to create brunch, breakfast for lunch, breakfast only, lunch items, but also the ever-growing a la carte business that many schools that are trying to maintain a positive bottom line. So we are really eager to see what you think about in this box as a business plan for not only using it for a one-time menu special, but what makes it sustainable. And also how you look at the pricing of it. So we had Health is Wealth and Tina, like what does that price out to be? So those are all new improvements on how we will be scoring these products. And so the winner will be notified the week of March 10th, and then we're going to invite you here with us on March 19th, which will be our What's Up Wednesday live in-person mystery chef announcement, a winner revealed. We will cook with them, and we will talk a little bit more about the process of innovative professional development that really helps you engage your staff, move the needle, and also not worry too much about all the things that, regulations and Buy American and all that. We'll get you all organized. But what happens is it's not nutrition unless number one, kids like it and they eat it.
Yep.
And you all are the magic behind making that happen. So you all are the ones that order the food, inspire your staff to cook it, and really think outside of the box, which the mystery chef comes in a box.
Correct.
No pun intended.
Unintended.
Yeah, there we go. Any other tips for mystery chef? Call to action.
No, I would say last year everybody did fantastic, and we were really impressed with everything you did. So I really hope that we can raise the bar a little bit more this year. And I guess we can probably say this: we're going to try and get the pictures and these recipes onto the actual microsite. Here's what we're working on.
Yeah,
So
we're trying.
we might send out a little bit of wants and needs just for the photography.
Yes.
But, and with that being said, know that you're going to live on in infamy
Ooh.
on the microsite under a specific tab just for K-12.
I love that. So there, the K-12 tab on the GFS side, we also have a digital cookbook from season 1 and 2, and we'll be doing another digital cookbook. So you could be a part of the footprint of what it takes to really innovate your staff's menu and to really do some innovative, cool professional development with us.
Awesome.
So we look forward to it. We're up upon our hour. We again appreciate Sandridge and all your hospitality. As always, we appreciate you and your attendance. We will follow up with an after email summary as well as the resource links. And again, we thank you for your time today. Have a
Thank you.
great year.
Yep.